we'll turn it over to Ryan Rhodes, who is the Student Orgs Coordinator for ASUU. And he'll talk a little bit about how y'all can get involved.
Like April said, my name is Ryan Rhodes. I'm the Student Organizations Coordinator within the Department of Student Leadership and Involvement. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all because Erin and I have some slides to show y'all. Can y'all see my screen okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Cool. I'm always like, can y'all see it? Cool. So like I said, with the Department of Student Leadership and Involvement. Ooh, what is happening? Oh, okay, so who we are. So SLI serves as the clearinghouse for all campus, or not all campus, but it serves as a clearinghouse for campus involvement. And we do that through a variety of different programs and services that we have housed underneath of our department, and I'll get to that in a second. We have 2 offices in the union. One belongs to the ASUU organization. They're your student government. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But it's right there on that main floor of the union. It's known as the involvement wing. If you wish to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, we have our handles right there. We post involvement opportunities, whether it's through student orgs or our own leadership programs or just like other things going around campus. We typically share things through there. So if you want to add us there, that's fantastic. And then our website is right there, just leadership.utah.edu. So talking about why getting involved matters. So typically data, not just at the U, but sort of institutions across the country, students who are involved on campus typically have higher GPAs. They're more likely to feel like a stronger sense of belonging to the institution. With that, like their persistence, like they have friends and peers to lean on. They develop skills that employers are looking for when it comes time to graduate through either their student org or an internship like Erin is doing right now. There's lots of places on campus that you can find an internship. We can talk about that later. So it's really just about like, how are you going to help yourself stand apart from the rest when you go to graduate and you're looking for a job or applying to grad school? Like, getting involved is really your ticket to student success at the university. So just a lot of things on this slide, a lot of like proximal and distal like benefits, but just like on the surface level, like it's how you make lifelong friends. It's the full college experience. I will say, like, if you ask any staff member in student affairs, like why they got in student affairs, they'll give you the typical story of like, I was really involved in college and I wanted to make a difference. And so that's how a lot of us came into it. A lot of opportunities come with tuition waivers, or they're paid hourly, or they have stipends. I'll let Erin talk about sort of the opportunities within ASUU that come with financial compensation. And then the all-encompassing free food and free stuff. Like if you're on campus sort of in the typical sphere of college life, like you can find free food pretty much every day anywhere on campus. And that's a popular thing. But Erin, do you want to maybe talk about just really quickly, like what you've gotten out of being involved on campus and how that sort of benefited you now?
Yeah, for sure. So the 2 main areas that I've been involved on campus are ASUU, and I've been on the club swim and dive team. And both of those have been probably the best part of my college experience. You know, love my classes, but got to take a break from those. And so specifically with ASUU, that was something that I honestly didn't think I would ever get involved in. My brother had been involved in previous years and he told me I should apply. But I had never, wasn't in student government in high school, didn't think I would like it at all. And so then I actually ended up applying to first year council, which is what I'm now the director of. So kind of coming full circle there. And they told us, we want you to stay involved. And I was like, oh, sure, probably won't happen. I'll find other things. But ended up just really loving the environment of ASUU. And I felt like I was growing a lot as a person because of ASUU. And so then I ended up running to be a part of the assembly, which we will be talking about later. But that's just a part of ASUU. And really just continued to learn more about the university. I honestly know way more than I thought I ever would about the university and what goes on in various parts of it. And I also just kind of developed this passion for helping other students and improving the lives of other students, because the University of Utah has given me so much and I do want to give back to it. And then also there are positions within ASUU and other parts of campus that are paid, which is nice. And tuition waivers too, that has been a big help for me, getting those tuition waivers. So it is a good way to spend your time, but you can get compensated for it, which is nice.
Cool. Thanks, Erin. Trying to move to the next slide. Okay, cool. So this is a graphic that our involvement ambassador team, I'll talk here in a second, that they share during their involvement presentations that they give to various folks. But it just shows that like the more you get involved in things, like the bigger sort of time commitment. And involvement is really sort of like it's a choose your own journey at your own comfort level, at what you can reasonably handle like with your classes and stuff. And so just wanting to give folks like a visual aid of sort of how you can take involvement into bigger like bite-sized pieces. The first part that the involvement ambassadors typically recommend students is just attend some campus events. Things are going to look a little differently this fall with things being virtually, and I'll talk here in a second about how you can locate those virtual events. But just sort of attend anything and everything that you have time for. Just if something just like piques your interest, like just go check it out. And if you don't like it, you learned that you didn't like it and you move on and find out what you do like. And then if you're wanting to take a bigger time commitment, you can go on an alt break trip. I'm sure Chris will talk about that here in a second. Our department has a couple leadership conferences we'll talk about later. Those are just like either weekends or week-long sort of bite-sized pieces. And then if you want even more time commitment, you can join a student organization. And then even up from there, you can take on a leadership role somewhere on campus, whether it's a job, with the student government, or just within a student organization that you've either joined or started yourself. So just within our department, we house ASUU, the organization resource group. We house all the student organizations, the involvement ambassadors. We have 3 conferences that are typically student-led, student-planned, and student-driven, and then various other leadership programs. Our department does involvement consultations. We train student orgs. If you have issues with renting, there is like a legal referral program through our department. There's an emergency student loan, referrals for food and housing insecurity, on-campus childcare, tutoring, all things that you can access through our department. So this is a really important one. So if you're on your computer or your smartphone right now, highly recommend saving Campus Connect as a bookmark. This will be your like one-stop shop ticket to campus involvement. This platform launched back in August. It houses every single student organization, and we're slowly onboarding different campus departments. But the overall goal of it was to make a one-stop shop for student involvement. It's great that we have like all of these other websites, but just anecdotally, like either like in passing or in more formal surveys, we've just heard from students. It's sort of difficult trying to figure out like where to get involved, and things exist like in little pockets. And so this platform has descriptions of all the student orgs in the campus departments we've onboarded so far, events. There's even a little button where you can locate all the virtual and online events. We post news through here, student orgs post news, campus departments. But this is really going to be your hub for getting involved and just figuring out what's going on campus. We try to make that link super easy. It's getinvolved.utah.edu. And you can sign in with the button in the top right-hand corner, and it authenticates with CIS. So you don't have another password you have to remember. It's all through what you would log in for your email or anything else at the institution. The other thing with Campus Connect, so when we do sort of return to a lot more in-person activities, you're going to want to download your U Event Pass. It's just getinvolved.utah or getinvolved.utah.edu/event pass. And it takes you right into this little mobile boarding pass that you can save into your phone, either with a screenshot or your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And typically when you go to an event from ASUU, UPC, Center for Student Wellness, and a bunch of other folks, when you go to the event, they'll have signs asking you to have your U event pass ready so they can scan it and track your attendance. And it's useful to you because you can see a list of all of the events you've attended on campus, because when you're making your resume or whatnot and you're like, what have I been involved in? You can go to Campus Connect and read a history of everything you've been involved in. And it also just helps campus departments just to know like who's been at their events and what students are they serving. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. Our involvement ambassadors are a team of experienced student leaders that are responsible for promoting campus involvement. We try to select this team to be composed of students from all different areas of campus, so that if someone has a question about a specific opportunity, they can hop into the group me with the other ambassadors and ask about it. The services they provide include our one-on-one consultations. The website is right here, where you can sign up for consultations starting on August 21st, the first day of classes. They'll probably be virtual, like a Zoom meeting like this. But students it's been very well received this past year. We've been really impressed with the level of students that have utilized this resource. And then they also give group presentations in the residence halls, first year experience classes. But overall, their goal is to help students like find their home and find their passion at the university. Since we are a campus of 32,000 students, finding a little hub, a student org, or a group of friends is a great way to make the campus feel smaller and less intimidating. And that's what this team is all about. The next folks we have is the organization resource group. The too long don't read version, they're just the student org support team. So if you're part of a student organization and there's required training to do, these are the folks that put it on. Or if you have questions about putting on an event or fundraising or how to use Campus Connect, the org team is who folks reach out to get support for their student organization. They host all sorts of supplemental sort of trainings. We have their social media link on here as well. It's just org_U of U. They do a lot more of the posting of what student orgs have going on because they want to help promote. The great thing about this team is if you get on Campus Connect and there's a specific niche or an interest that we don't currently have a student group, you can start your own. So we like to think that we have anything in everything with 500, but you know, if there's something else that you want to start, you can contact these folks to sort of figure out how to start your own student group. Really exciting and important, we're hosting the virtual Get Involved Fair on Wednesday, July 29th at 1 p.m. Head over to Campus Connect to hear more about it. Once you sign in to Campus Connect, on the center of the page, it says like virtual Get Involved Fair. You can click on that and it'll take you to the event listing for it. If you want to RSVP, we'll send you a reminder email and some like get pumped and excited videos. But there's instructions on there for like how to join and sort of what the format. We're looking at about 75 student orgs and campus departments that are looking to recruit new members. That event listing that I just told you how to get there, it also has a link to some Google Slides that are like the organizations that have signed up so far. And they'll each have their own individual Zoom link. That's like their table that you can hop into and meet with the student org. So more details on that on Campus Connect. And then Erin, I will turn ASUU, all about that, over to you.
Sounds good. So yeah, ASUU is the student government. It stands for Associated Students of the University of Utah. So it is honestly pretty different than what at least student government was like at my high school. And so, but it still has, you know, president, vice president, two vice presidents actually, that run every year, and then they serve a term, and then they select members for the executive cabinet. So that's what I'm a part of. And so I'm the director of first year council. But then there's also a campus events board, sustainability board, student immersion and outreach, lots of government relations, like I think 11 boards total. All of them put on different activities, serve different purposes. And so there's a director for all of those boards, and then they all have usually an associate director, and then other board members that help them carry out the activities / events and whatever programming or stuff that they need to get done. And so that's probably the most well-known part of ASUU and what people usually like to get involved in. Campus Events Board especially is what people tend to want to get involved in, but there's really an area for everyone. And so then that's the executive branch. And then there's the judicial branch, which there's an attorney general who basically handles Red Book, which is our constitution. And then there's a Supreme Court, which basically deals with any issues that arise, especially they usually do most of their work when elections are happening. And then there's also the legislative branch, which includes Assembly and Senate. So I was a part of Assembly. The main purpose for Assembly is funding student organizations. So student organizations would apply to us. We give them money basically, so that because the student fees that you pay that go to ASUU, we want to be able to give them back to the students. So that's one of the main purposes of Assembly. And then Assembly and Senate, they both pass legislation that can either be saying, we as students of the University of Utah want this and give it, to the state legislature, or it can be internal within ASUU or within the U in general. So yeah, it's basically structured kind of like the United States government. That's probably the best way to picture it. And yeah, there's really a place for everyone. You can do so many different things in ASUU. And it's a great way to be involved on campus and also be in collaboration with lots of other places on campus. And so, yeah, that's kind of a brief overview of ASUU.
You got 2 quick questions for you, Erin.
Yes.
How many of the positions are compensated with ASUU? And how can, besides FYC, since we'll get to that in the next slide, how else can folks learn about getting involved with ASUU?
Okay, so the first question, for paid positions, pretty much, so every member of the legislative branch is compensated, every member of the judicial branch is compensated, and for the executive cabinet, the presidency, and then directors and associate directors are compensated. So board positions are not, they're volunteer positions. And then, but of course, the next year you can apply to be an associate director, and then be paid the next year. And so for all of those positions, it's definitely compensation. And then for some of them, there's a tuition waiver as well. And then can you remind me what the second question was?
Yeah, it was besides FYC, since we're getting to that here in a second, how else can students learn about getting involved with ASUU?
Yeah, so the best way probably to get involved besides FYC is going to the ASUU website. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but if you type in University of Utah ASUU, you'll find it. And usually the boards are always their open board applications, so you can look through what all the boards do and see which ones you might want to apply for. You can be on multiple if you want. And other than that, Assembly and Senate are both, you run for a position at the end in the spring of the year of 1 year for the next year. And so unless there's an open seat in the Assembly or Senate, then you would have to wait until the spring to run for one of those positions. But there usually are some open seats, but they are based on what college you're in. So I'm in College of Engineering, I would only be able to apply for an open seat from the College of Engineering. So yeah, but best way to get involved is first year council. So that's what I'm the director of. It is an amazing way to get involved in ASUU. And one of the main goals of first year council is to get the first year students to want to continue to be involved, either hopefully in ASUU, if not in ASUU, then other areas of the campus. But it is just a really good introduction to what ASUU is, what opportunities you have within ASUU, resources available to you both from ASUU and across campus, as well as just other opportunities that you might be able to do across campus or other involvement opportunities. So yeah, another thing is during the second semester, one of the hallmarks of a first year council is working on projects. That's pretty much up to the first year council students to decide what those projects are. My year, I know we had a group doing something with sustainability. We were trying to, it didn't work out as well as we hoped, but we were trying to get not get rid of paper towel dispensers, but try to get a lot more air dryers in bathrooms. There's a group doing something related to parking. And so there's really endless opportunities with what you can do, but the goal is to get you more experienced in where you need to go on campus in order to get things done and really show you that you do have the power to make an impact at the University of Utah. The best part of first year council though is definitely the network that you build. In fact, 4 of my good friends from for my first year council, they are now the members of the presidency this year. So luckily we had a year where most people, or not most, I should say a decent number of people stayed involved in ASUU. And yeah, also lots of mentors. We have a mentorship program where you get paired with another older member of ASUU where they can talk to you, show you the ropes, just really help you out in any way. You get to be a lot closer with all the advisors you can go to for ASUU related things or just life related things. So yeah, it's really a great way to get involved. Even if you don't think that ASUU isn't going to be for you, you might be like me and apply, happen to get in, happen to really enjoy it and kind of find that that's really what you want to be doing for the rest of your college career. So yeah, definitely encourage you to apply for first year council. If you want to apply, you can go to the website that's right there, or you can scan that QR code. The application is due at the beginning of September. I believe it's about 2 weeks after school starts. And it's live right now, so if you want to do it early, you can also do that. But yeah, so that's ASUU and first year council.
Quick question for you, Erin, that might be useful to either folks watching it now or in the recording, about how many folks do get accepted to be on FYC?
So in the past several years, it's usually around 30 students. This year we're toying around with the idea of lowering that number depending on what the guidelines are going to be for, how many people we can have gathering together. If it's like 10 people, we're not going to limit it to 10 people. But that's just something we're toying with, but my guess would be between 20 and 30. And on that note, it's also it is going to be a lot different this year with like having events and activities and such. But we are going to be getting very creative in finding ways to not only show you what is available to you at the U, but also building a strong community, even if that is virtually and you never actually meet in person. But yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Thanks, Erin. And then just a couple of other quick plugs just to keep on the horizon, and then we'll wrap this up on our end. We have a student leadership conference, the Conference on Diverse Excellence, and the Women's Leadership Summit. The latter of the two focus a bit more on the role of like identity in leadership and what does leadership look through different lenses. This past year, the Student Leadership Conference went to like a lodge. They took like 30 students and split them up into like little family clusters, and that was really successful. So as we navigate the virtual world ahead of us, sort of to be determined what those look like for this year. But I always like to end on this statement for students: your most important project in college is you. 4, 5, sometimes 6 years go by very, very quickly. You will blink and be like, how have I been out of college for this long? Time goes by very quickly. So it's just important to use your time wisely to explore new things, learn new things, and find out more about yourself. So are there any questions, at least for us at this time?
Shay or Lucas, do you guys have any questions for them?
Yeah, I've got one. I guess this is kind of, both for Ryan and for Aaron, but I'm just curious with ASUU, specifically first year council FYC, how many, I'm a non-traditional student, and I'm just wondering how many non-traditional students sit on that council.
Yeah, so non-traditional students, to be honest, they are underrepresented in ASU as a whole. One of our goals this year is to just in general improve inclusivity in ASUU and in first year council, have a more diverse first year council, in every respect of the word diverse, which includes having non-traditional students. So in the past few years, I'm not exactly sure the number of non-traditional students, but not many. But that being said, I would still encourage you to apply if that's something you're interested in, because that is something we're really looking to have more representation of, whether that be first year council or other parts of ASUU. And there is a board that is, we just renamed it. It used to be Student Immersion and Outreach. I think it's now Non-Traditional Student Immersion and Outreach. So they deal with a lot of the non-traditional student affairs and stuff that would apply to them that might not be applicable to traditional students. So.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Shay, are you an incoming freshman or are you currently going to U?
I am, weird question. I don't have my associate's degree yet.
Okay.
But technically it's my 3rd year of school.
So you're a
Okay.
transfer student?
Yes.
Cool. Do you know about the Crimson Transfer Mentors, I believe they're called?
I have already signed up for it and I'm really excited.
Amazing. That's awesome.
Perfect. Great. Cool. And then Lucas, do you have any questions about ASUU or student leadership and involvement?
Yeah, I just want to say I love the what is it called, like the involvement fair, how it's going to be virtual with like virtual tables. I think that's really fun. I was sort of wondering, and Aaron, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Like, what's the best way to like use your very first semester to like get involved, and like what are the best ways to like get started?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think definitely the involvement fair, although it's going to look different this year, that is a great opportunity. I think because we had Plaza Fest my freshman year, and that's what we've done the past few years, where it's actual tables, and you just go around, talk to different people that are tabling for their different student organizations. And I think the first Plaza Fest that I went to, I just got my name on so many email lists. Some of them I'm still on and never been to a meeting. And, just things that I thought, oh, maybe I could see myself doing that. I remember I signed up for like the Beekeepers Club. Didn't end up doing that, but could have been cool. But yeah, and then once I saw, I got an email from the swim team that said we're having our first practice or our like orientation this day. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go to that. And ended up just absolutely loving it. I think I talked to the director of FYC at Plaza Fest, or maybe it was at orientation, I can't remember. But they told me about FYC. I was like, maybe. And then my brother was like, you should do it. I was like, okay, I did the application a few hours before it was due. So I do think that just really trying to put yourself out there, whether that be by just getting on all the email lists you can get on and then deciding from there where you're going to go. And then I also think just trying to get out of your comfort zone and, you know, when you're in the dorms, as much as you can, I guess I don't know what the situation and the guidelines will be like, but trying to just go out of your way to meet new people and make new friends, because that is another way to just get involved. You know, you might have a friend that says, hey, I'm going to go do this, want to come with me? And then you're in a new student group all of a sudden. So I think that those two things would definitely be my advice and kind of what helps me get involved. And then from there, you really do just kind of realize what you want to do and what you want to spend your time doing. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Thank you.
And if you have, like, if you need any assistance, like you get on Campus Connect, or there's an opportunity that you've heard of that's not on Campus Connect and you need help, you can always reach out to either the SSAs with April, or you can reach out directly to like an involvement ambassador who's like a fellow student who may know like the little nooks and crannies of things better than the staff members or something. April, you're muted.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I thought I unmuted myself. Yeah, thanks, Brian, so much, and Aaron for talking about ASUU and SLI and how to get involved. Now we're going to transition to Chris Wada, who's the Marketing and Outreach Director for the Bennion Center.
Thank you, April. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen as well. Let's see here. Looking good? Thumbs up. Okay. So again, I'm with the Bennion Center. So what is the Bennion Center? Often referred to as the BC. So we're the community engagement hub at the U. There's a lot in that, what a community engagement hub is. Essentially, we connect students and faculty to community partners. And one big question that's always asked is, where are we located? We're in the University Union. The office is on the first floor, the west side of the building. If you leave the cafeteria, walk past the bathrooms, we're there at the end of the building. We will likely be mostly virtual this fall semester, but just so you know, it's oftentimes a question that's asked. The Bennion Center, we have a lot of options for students to engage with in terms of Bennion Center programs. This is brand new, essentially, kind of trying to communicate how people get involved in what we offer. So volunteer, travel, learn, live, and lead are good kind of category descriptors. So with that said, let's dig in there. We're going to be on this slide a lot, so buckle in. But BC programs based on interest and time commitment. If we start with volunteer opportunities, we've broken them down similar to what Ryan did in terms of time commitment. That seems to be the universal question, no matter what your interest is how much time is required. So on our one time, this is the easiest way to get started at the Bennion Center. We have what we call Service Corner. This is where it's a drop-in anytime you can volunteer to support a project. This last year, we did bags for beds, where you take recycled plastic bags and weave them into beds for people experiencing homelessness. We've done, we knit hats for adults and newborns, projects like that, looking at sewing masks, things more COVID related this fall. One update on the Service Corner is this year you can pick up projects and take them home and or stop by depending on where we're at with guidelines. But it could be a great opportunity just to kind of get your feet wet essentially. And it'll be at the Bennion Center office at the Student Union, but then also at the new CalArt Village housing, on-campus housing residential complex. The other one-time experience would be the first year experience, and this is brand new for the Bennion Center coming into this year. What this is meant to be is, like you mentioned, Shay, you're a transfer student. It's a first year to the U experience, so transfer students, people new to the Bennion Center, and first year students are all welcome. It's a monthly event-based program. Things include workshops, dialogues, service projects. A lot of our Saturday service projects will be incorporated in here. It's essentially kind of a cohort of peers to get involved in the community. So we're really excited about that. And within that, I mentioned the service projects coming up this fall. In September, we have our Legacy of Lowell Saturday service project. Registration is required. It's not open yet, and we're still determining how virtual it needs to be, but that would be something to mark and make a mental note of. That would be a great place to start there. Other volunteer opportunities broken out by academic year, community partnership programs. This is probably the largest Bennion Center program in terms of student participants and hours throughout the year. This is where students have the ability to partner with a community nonprofit or just organization in support of the community to take the lead and recruit volunteers to help support whatever that may be. And we could dig into that a little more if there are certain questions around that, which I know, Shay, I think you had a few of those. Utah Reads. This is a federal work study program. Essentially, you tutor grade school children at 9 elementary schools here in the Valley. It's a great opportunity to potentially earn work study money while also, helping the community. And then one thing I am proud of is the communications team. That's kind of my direct group within the Bennion Center, where we're looking for creatives, people that have skills or just an interest in a certain area, be it graphic design, video, photography, social media, etc. There's a number of positions there, and we are always open to volunteers coming in to offer a project or work with us on whatever we're doing. So now, next would be travel, which are essentially 2 programs that are both week-long. Alternative Breaks is, April, how many have you gone on?
I've gone on about 11, and this is through different universities, not just the U. So, but yeah, it's my favorite opportunity. You can really connect with other students. And yeah, I started as a graduate student going on them, and I just love them. It's the best. You do community service, and then you bond with the group as well.
Awesome, thank you. You're an avid fan and loyal supporter of this program.
Yes.
So Alternative Breaks, what that is it's traditionally a week-long break for fall break and spring break. Given the environment for this fall semester, there won't be a week fall break, but there will be weekend breaks that are available, and just some information there, just kind of some pivoting given COVID. It's now called AB Light, and they're weekend long. Some benefits to this change would be there's no cost involved for students to participate this fall. Generally, there's a fee that there can be financial assistance provided in addition to that. But this year it is free. The dates are October 2nd to Sunday, October 4th, that weekend. Applications are required and are due, let's see here, Friday, August 28th. So you have a little time, but there is an application process. And these trips for this fall, it looks like there's 6 total. I won't read all of them, but they all focus on a kind of a cause-based travel to trip, if you will. Hunger and food justice, immigration, urban environmentalism, wildlife habitat conservation are just a handful there in terms of kind of based on interest you can join. Traditionally, this is where you get in a van with a group of students, you travel to a location somewhere along the West Coast, and then you come back being best friends and transform for life. I hope that's the experience, April. I've yet to go on one, but that seems to be the case. The other week-long travel opportunity here would be learning abroad. So there's 2 trips here, one to Cuba and one to Costa Rica. And they're generally both in the spring, over spring break or summer break. We had one planned for this fall, but we are gonna push that to spring. Now, number 3, learn. This is a good descriptor for what we offer here in terms of semester-based community engaged learning courses, otherwise known as CEL courses. So there's over 200 of these available, open to all majors. And what's really stressed here is kind of a experiential learning environment where you spend half the time in the classroom and then half the time working with a community partner around a specific need. This has been a really popular option. In addition to that, kind of the multi-year kind of time commitment would be a Bennion Scholars program where, you know, you apply your academic interests, all majors welcome, to identify a community need. There's a capstone project, diploma designation. This is kind of where you take your kind of personal and academic passions and kind of take it one step further. Generally speaking, it's around an 18-month, that's why we say multi-year timeframe to complete. But that's more of the kind of learning and academic side. And if you're still with me, everyone, we have Live here, number 4. The Bennion Center has 2 on-campus housing options, both obviously academic year. One is the service house, which is 12 residents at Officers Circle, where it's focused around community engagement. You get really close with this group of 12. Some things that I've heard that people love about it is multiple majors there, to where you get a lot of different perspectives. Another unique aspect of this housing option would be it can be a first year, a second, third, or fourth year student all living in the same area. So there's some mentorship, there's some guidance, and there's just, like I mentioned, kind of a lot of different perspectives. You kind of like a first year experience cohort, you kind of have a tighter knit group that supports different Bennion Center projects throughout the year. Again, brand new for this year, and not necessarily for current students, but the Gail Miller Community Engagement Tower. It's one of 3 towers at the new on-campus Keller Village, where it's specifically for first-year students. And I guess lastly, this area of lead/leadership is an academic year experience. And this is kind of the glue that holds the Bennion Center together, if you will, in my opinion. Bennion Center student leaders, there's roughly 150 of them that are all a part of all the various programs that I've gone over, that I hope you're still with me to this point on. But applications for that would open in January, and your term would start at the end of spring semester through the following spring semester. So that's not available yet, but it's a great opportunity to get real kind of firsthand experience, make a lot of connections. People do it from all aspects and majors, if they're looking for a public service career or just want to, help with support the community. So I've heard a lot of stories around, I never would have received this internship. I'm so surprised I was given so much control and decision-making around how these programs operate, which has all led to just a really kind of career building experience. It's been awesome to hear. But with that said, I guess the big thing around all of this would be our website, bennioncenter.org, to get more information about all of these programs. In addition to that, kind of how to get involved with the Bennion Center from here would be to go to the website and click on our volunteer interest form, where you can select up to 3 programs that you're interested in, and someone from the Bennion Center will reach out to you. So it's a pretty straightforward process there, and we put the onus on us to reach out and follow up. Other things there, I guess, would be around potentially what opportunities are available in this COVID environment. We're updating all of our programs, kind of a fluid situation with a lot of our community partners into what's going to happen come this fall. So what we have been asking people to do, if you're interested in a certain program within the volunteer interest form, just submit your interest and we'll reach out to you and kind of go over what's the current situation, what are the opportunities. And we don't want to shut down any programs. We want to keep them going, but we'll definitely be in touch to kind of communicate what the current status and where they can fit into that is at this time. But yeah, April, I guess any questions based on that? I know it was a lot on one slide. There's a lot at the Bennion Center. And in addition to that, we work with a number of, community members, organizations, if you will, to post their requests and needs as well. So, we're hoping to be the hub for all community and or university volunteer opportunities, not just specifically Bennion Center programs. So that's the spiel of the Bennion Center, and I'm happy to answer any questions I can.
Shay, do you have any questions like the one that you talked about that you were interested in, like nutrition, hunger stuff?
Yes, so I was a service leader at the ASUU Community Engagement Center. So I'm actually very, very familiar with hunger and homelessness programs, as well as I was a service leader over an alternative spring break to New York City fighting hunger and homelessness.
Cool.
So that is near and dear to my heart. So I love it. So thank you for talking about it. But a specific question that's really weighing on my mind is similar to what I asked about with ASUU is with your Bennion Center student leaders, Chris, is there a small number of non-traditional students involved with that, or is it pretty rare?
Well, I guess what I would say with student leader positions is there's kind of like all of the programs, there's a wide range of kind of time commitment per week, per month. Some are more event-based, if you will, certain times a year, even specific to a semester. So I would just reply saying there are options for all levels of time commitment, transition students or not. There would be something for you.
Awesome.
And I think, just the areas that you talked about, obviously alternative breaks, it sounds like you're familiar with Shay and the different trips and kind of causes there to look into. Within our community partnership programs, that's where we break things out into 6 issue areas that represent around 45 community partnerships. So those 6 are advocacy, arts and recreation, education, health and wellness, mentorship, and then sustainability and food justice. So some of the areas you'd probably be interested in would be around, health and wellness. And then if you go to our website, you'll be able to click on health and wellness and see all the community partners we work with. Same thing for education or potentially arts and recreation. So there are a number of things. There's student leadership opportunities, but then there's also these programs need volunteers to support in varying, time commitment levels. So if you're interested in a specific program, again, the volunteer interest form would be great for the student leader to then reach out to you and kind of go over what the needs are and how you guys can work together.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Good. I am glad you're excited. It's a lot of fun, and I've been here since this last September, and just the community of students, the leadership, it's just the passion, the selflessness. Basically all of the positions, student leader positions or otherwise at the Bennion Center are non-paid. It's all volunteer. And the amount of time and energy students put into these programs, it's amazing. It's fun to see.
Shay, you should apply to be an alt break leader.
I will consider it.
Yeah, you should think about it. Jay Swinger is the coordinator, and he's amazing to work with. So I'll be following up with you and Lucas too after the session in a few days and see if there's any other questions or any other people that I can connect you to.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lucas, do you have any questions for the Bennion Center? Anything you're thinking about?
I am looking to get involved in the Literacy Action Center, which is like an off-campus thing. And I've been in touch with some people, but yeah, I'm also very excited about it. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And Lucas, I think you joined one of the community conversations put on by the Bennion Center. Your name sounds familiar.
Yes, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and there's another one this Monday, which I've yet to post, but heads up there. So thanks for
Okay,
that.
great.
Cool. Do either one of you have any other last minute questions? We're going to wrap up as our time's kind of running out, but any other things that you're like, I gotta just ask this right now?
No,
Okay.
you guys
Okay.
have been pretty thorough, but thank
Okay.
you so much for your time.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I just want to thank everyone, Shay, Lucas for joining us, and Chris, Ryan, and Aaron for co-hosting this with me. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, I'll be following up with Shay and Lucas, and then it will be recorded, and then I'll be following up with everyone in a few days as soon as we edit it, and then I'll send that out to everybody. Perfect. Yes. Awesome. Thanks so much. We'll see you later. Have a great Thursday, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.